Okay, welcome back. This is prep test 87, section 1, analytical, and we'll try our hand at questions 6 through 10. And what are we informed? So we have a law. It says there's a TV station determining the order in which 5 commercials will appear, and the 5 commercials have to do with F, G, P, S, and T. All right. And what about my commercials? They're to be aired during the 5 slots available in a commercial break. And they want the order. Okay. So it's going to be, there doesn't appear to be any element other than order here. And again, I'll represent my constraints at the bottom. It says here that P has to be earlier than G. So earlier is going to be on the left. So P is earlier than G. All right. Underline the P and the G. S is earlier than the T. All right. S is earlier than the T. Got that. And underline. And then F and S are consecutive. F and S. So they're reversible. And they're consecutive. You know, and as you become more natural at representing the information, you're really writing more like a lawyer. You're really reading more like a lawyer, and you're really thinking more like a lawyer. All right. And I notice here that the first question is not even an orientation question. There's not a lot to do here. I can certainly combine second and the third constraints, which I will. So you're going to have FST. So I'm going to erase these two. There's no reason to keep them there because I'm not being asked an orientation question. So this is going to be erase, whoops, get this as eraser, take this FS. I'm going to move the F over here. Continue that relationship of their being reversible. So this is all about managing these, what are now 2 constraints. Okay, let's do it. I mean, you know, this arming is so straightforward. There's really nothing. I mean, I can draw short. You want to draw 5? We'll draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many of the commercials are there? I'm sorry, question number 6. How many of the commercials are there, any one of which could be aired last? Well, that would be G and T. So the answer is D, 2 of them. Okay. 7, if the truck commercial is aired earlier than the G, what cannot be true? Okay, so if I'm going to have the truck earlier than G, then I'm going to rewrite this. And this is going to be FS T, and now the T is earlier than the G, right? And the P is earlier than the G. That's all that's involved. And now what cannot be true? Can F be second? Sure, F could be first or second. Can G be fourth? No, G is fifth. That's the answer. Now, I'll go over C, D, and E, but that's the answer. Just get out of there. C, can P be first? Sure, P can be first. There's nobody coming before P. D, can S be first? Absolutely. Carry that over. They're reversible. Absolutely. And E, T is fourth. Sure. You can have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the answer to the question number 7 is B. All right, we erase this. And we go to question number 8. If the pizza commercial is aired immediately before the truck commercial, so let me write that in. Now they want, so it's going to look like this. FS, reversible, PT, pizza is immediately before the truck, immediately before, so they're adjacent. PT, and then you would have G. That's what you get. Which one of the following could be true? Okay. And, I'm looking at F and S because, P must be third, T must be fourth, G must be fifth. But let's see what they have here. Truck is third. No. P is third. B. S is third. No. S is either first or second. P is first. No. P is third. C says G is fourth. No. G is last. And E says F is second, and that could be true. Does not have to be true. Could be true. And the answer to question number 8 is E. This is not a heavy lift. Question number 9. How many of the commercials are there, any one of which could be second? And the answer is going to be 4. P could, F and S can each be second because they're reversible. P and G can each be second because F and S could be third and fourth. T is the only one that can't be second, and that's because T is preceded by 2 letters. So the answer there is B. There are 4. Question number 10. If the G and T are not aired consecutively, which one of the following could be true? Okay, so now this is going to be, I'm going to have the same relationships here, right? But you cannot be next to each other, right? So G and T cannot be next to each other. And you want to know what could be true. And here, let me, this one is not as clear. This is not as clear to me. So I'd say, okay, let me work with what you gave me. Could it be true that F goes last? Well, if F went last, S would have to go fourth. And then you'd have to have P followed by G and T. So that's not going to work because they need to be not consecutive. All right, so that's not the answer. B, how about if you put G fourth? Well, if I put G fourth, all right, that's forcing the P somewhere over here. And now I have FST, but the F and the S, wherever they are, need to be consecutive. And that puts the T here in slot number 5, and that also does not get the job done because that's putting G and T next to each other. So that's not the answer. So this one question would take a little more time, but this was basically a guess. How about if I put P in the third slot? Well, if I put P in the third slot, I've got to throw G somewhere over here. Now, that means F and S, who need two available spaces, have to be 1, 2, in reversible order, which means G and T, again, are going to be next to each other, and that is not the answer. Okay, and now we look at a D. How about if I put S in second? Well, if I put S in second, right, the F can fold here or here, all right? And that leaves me, and the T, of course, would have to be, T has to come down this way. It could be any of these slots. Okay, and now I have P and G. And this is going to allow me to keep the G away from the T, because here, if I put sportswear in second, and I've just got to get the P in front of the G. So I can take the T here. I'll put the F in first, right? And whoops, that's the wrong color. Put the F here in first. All right. Now what I want to do is keep the T and the G away. So to do that, I put the P here. So in other words, this becomes PG. The T is here, so it still comes after the F and the S, and I have successfully separated them. And so D is the answer. We'll take a quick look at D. But this one, sure, this one was going to maybe slow you down a little bit. but you're talking about, you have the prospect of getting 10 out of 10 on the first two hypotheticals. There are worse places to be. Let's take a look at E. What about if I put the truck fourth? Well, if I put the truck fourth, that's forcing the F and the S to the left. All right. And it's forcing the P to the left because P has to come before G. All right. So that puts the G in last because it's, whoops, come back. Right. There's no room for the G. There are three available positions. Here's 1, 2, 3, and that's going to be F, S, and P. G gets over here, puts it next to the T, and that's not going to work. So the answer there to question number 10 is D for Drusus, and that is how one would solve questions 6 through 10, Prep Test 87, Section 1.